Tim Kennedy. Two men diving into one of the most controversial mysteries of history. Was Adolf Hitler really dead, or did he escape? In this discussion, shocking facts will emerge, and the truth may not be what you expect.
They declassified a bunch of documents. Both the Israelis, the British, and the Germans and Americans in the past 20 years have been consistently declassifying documents. And there were a bunch of specifically FBI documents that we were spending millions and millions of dollars actively searching for Hitler after the war. As was...
Really?
Yeah, like millions of dollars. Like Hoover was like, no, send more FBI agents to South America, to North Africa, go to the Canary Islands, go to Spain, trying to find out where this guy went. Tons of real FBI documents with real leads, with real informants, some first eye accounts saying that they physically... So anyways, that's the show, is us trying to find out, sift through reality and the fiction of the allure, the mystery of that asshole.
So what's the official story? The official story is that he killed himself, right?
Yep.
He killed himself in the bunker with Ava Braun.
Yep.
And is there any photographic evidence of his death or anything?
Yeah. So what the Russians got the body and they got his skull. And when they brought it back to Moscow, nobody has ever been able to independently verify who and what this body is. They let one genetic test occur, and the body with the bullet holes that they said was Hitler.
In the 1930s, Germany was suffering. The economy was in ruins, the people were desperate, and amidst this chaos, one man promised to restore Germany's lost glory. Hitler's propaganda was powerful. His words gave hope to the masses, but at what cost?
To arm all their soldiers. So if they have 200 guys, or 200,000 guys, they have 100,000 guns. If the guy in front of you dies, you just pick up his gun. That's what's happening in April of 1945 in Berlin. So the noose is tightening. There is it is chaos, anarchy, pandemonium. This is hell on earth, is Berlin, 1945. So I don't know if you could get a real story, the way that we do it now, where we have, this forensic experts that come in and document everything, and we look at all the different testimonies, say this is exactly how, it's not CSI. This is 1945 Berlin. It's crazy. So I don't know.
So there was no absolute proof.
No.
And a lot of Nazis did escape and go to South America.
The majority of anyone with power. The Nuremberg trials were not a witch hunt, but it was to close a chapter so we could start moving forward with communism. That's what it was. The threat of fascism, the threat of Hitler, the threat of killing all the Jews, the threat of world domination by the Nazis, that threat's gone. What's the next threat?
Communism.
It's communism.
Right.
So that had to be a closed chapter of our history so we could focus our resources and our efforts to what inevitably was going to, the wall goes up. We have East and West Berlin. We're already looking at Korea. This happens almost overnight.
Right, very quickly.
When Patton's like, no, homies, we need to go all the way to Moscow. This is not the end of our war, and we didn't listen to him.
World War II had begun. Hitler's armies swept through Europe like a storm, conquering country after country. His confidence grew, but so did his enemies. What was his biggest mistake? Many say it was his invasion of the Soviet Union. The tides of war were turning, and so was his fate.
That's the guy that then in South America was helping high-ranking Argentinians have abortions, and he set up, have you seen the movie Colonia?
No.
About Colonia Dignidad, which is, if you're listening right now, I almost warn you not to Google it, because it was a torture camp that was started by Joseph Schaefer, a Nazi, and Joseph Mengele, the doctor of death that escaped trial in Nuremberg and made it at the behest of Perón into Argentina. He set up the hospital at Colonia Dignidad, which was another safe haven for more Nazis in South America. Golda Meir and David and Ben Gurion, the presidents of Israel, they took the gloves off and they were just sending assassins to try to find these people and kill them. But what you got in South America were isolated German-only communities. You could go into Bariloche, Argentina, and I'd be like, "Buenos dias, amigos," and they're like, "Guten Morgen." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I meant good morning. Yeah, sorry, it's 2017, right? I thought we spoke Spanish here."
So, in 2017, you were there and they were speaking German.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I don't look I might look more European than I do. So it's just them seeing me walking down the street and be like,
wow.
Yeah. And there's tons of communities. I mean, if you go to Colonia Dignidad, which is now called Villa Bavaria, the Bavarian village, it is only German.
Whoa.
In the center of Chile, in the mountains of Chile. Like there's no Spanish being spoken there. It is exclusively German.
And these are descendants of Nazis.
Powerful Nazis.
Holy shit. And this is going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are these communities like? I mean, what's their ideology? Are they...
I mean, they're pretty white.
Yeah, but are they like... I mean, do they espouse Nazi values?
April 1945. Hitler was trapped. The once mighty leader now hid in a bunker, isolated and betrayed. But here's the big question. Did he really die in Berlin, or did he escape? Some believe he fled to South America, and the evidence might surprise you.
Well, it's just times 1,000 with these communities because they're exclusively German.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Kind of weird.
So, exclusively German and really missing home.
Yeah. Yeah. So
70 years later.
The second generations I was talking about, some of them came to the United States and were high-ranking white supremacists that are now in jail, in prison, for their racial crimes.
And they came out of South America.
They came out of Colonia Dignidad. They came out of Bariloche. They came out of
Holy shit.
Cordoba. They came out of Misiones. They came out of, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. So that's the show, Hunting Hitler.
Fucking A, man.
It's a trip.
How many people are we talking about all told in South America that come out of this? I mean, tens of thousands went there, but how many German communities and how big are they?
Yeah, we maybe have 50 German communities.
50? How many people, if you had to guess?
A few 100,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
A few 100,000
Yeah.
descendants of Nazis.
Yeah.
Wow.
The fall of Hitler changed the world forever, but the mystery of his death still lingers. What do you think? Did he really die in 1945, or is history hiding something from us? If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue the discussion. For centuries, one of the greatest mysteries of history has been the Shroud of Turin. Is it truly the burial cloth of Jesus Christ, or just an elaborate medieval hoax? Recent studies have reignited this age-old debate, revealing surprising new evidence that could change everything we thought we knew.
I mean, just recently they verified the Shroud of Turin. Have you seen that?
I've been reading about it, and I know that there's some contention, there's some discussion and debate about it, but they used to think that it was only a couple hundred years old.
Yeah.
And now they've changed that.
Yeah, they said no, it's back then.
They also don't understand how it was made, which to me is very fascinating because it's not paint. It's not, they don't know what caused the image itself and how that technology would have even been available.
It wasn't, no.
A couple thousand years ago.
An intense light, I mean, atomic, to leave almost like a photographic imprint on a piece of cloth.
Yeah.
And
it's wild. Pull that up. Pull the Shroud of Turin up.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild to look at because
Oh, yeah.
it's so interesting.
oh yeah.
Scientists once believed the cloth was only a few hundred years old. However, new research suggests that it could be over 2,000 years old. What's even more fascinating is that experts still can't explain how the image was formed. It's not paint, not dye, and there was no known technology to create such an imprint at the time.
And you can see it that it depicts a first century Hebrew male, because the hairstyle was from the first century, and a Hebrew hairstyle, that he was about 6 feet tall, that he was completely scourged all over his body. He was crucified. That's
yeah,
it there.
the one on the left, the one on the right is just like an artistic rendition.
AI recreation.
That's the face.
Yeah, click on that one, the face. The face, yeah, that's good enough. Get that
Yeah.
large. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah. Scourged, beaten,
Yeah.
the wounds on the thorns, the hands, the feet, and the scourging. And the hairstyle was from the first century. And the pollens that they found in the cloth were from that region.
Yeah.
Historians and scientists alike have been baffled by the striking details. The hairstyle matches that of a first-century Hebrew male. The wounds align with biblical accounts of Jesus' crucifixion. And even the pollen found on the cloth originates from the region of Jerusalem. Could this truly be the cloth that wrapped Jesus after his crucifixion?
Also, the weave was a first century weave that was typical. And another guy, an archaeologist who I knew, who actually translated the Passion into Aramaic, told me that if you look close, you can see the image of a Tiberius coin marks on the eyes. Now, I don't know if that's real or not. I've never actually checked that, but that there's images of Tiberius on the coin.
So they would put the coins over the eyes?
Yeah. So that would date it. But they have now verified that it does actually go back to that time period. For a while, they were testing pieces that had been repaired in the 13th century or,
Right.
you know. So.
What is the latest on that, Jamie?
The debate rages on. Some scientists claim the shroud is authentic based on nuclear research, while others argue it's a medieval artifact. One recent study published in the Heritage Journal suggests the relic could indeed be over 2,000 years old. But is that enough proof?
Do you see, like,
I was trying to get that. I have 2 different articles from within the last 6 months saying
the
opposite
Smithsonian
things. So
yeah,
I was gonna
opposite, of course.
dig into which one sounded the most accurate.
well, it's such a crazy thing to even try to verify. Like, what are you saying? You're saying that this is really the shroud that Jesus was covered in? So you're saying Jesus historically absolutely did exist, and we think that this is the shroud that covered him. That alone, people, incredulity, people's immediately their hackles raised. Like, wait a minute, and they just instead of like looking at it objectively, they almost always want to look at it from a point of view of disproving it immediately, dismissing it immediately.
But that's science, isn't it? You have to sort of, you play the devil's advocate. And that's okay. Go for it,
Skepticism is natural. Science thrives on questioning evidence. But what if the truth has been in front of us all along? If this relic is real, then it might be one of the most significant historical discoveries ever made.
Are you aware of Graham Hancock?
Oh, no.
Graham Hancock is he's sort of a historian that has a very he's got a series on Netflix. He's a fascinating guy, and his career started because he was investigating these accounts in Ethiopia of the Ark of the Covenant. And that they believe the Ark of the Covenant is in this one church that's protected by all these monks that wind up getting cataracts and radiation disease and sickness. And they think that it's because they're protecting this Ark of the Covenant, this actual thing, that it's an actual physical thing that's there.
And if you touch it, you get zapped.
Yeah, and that even being in its presence fucks these people up.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, it's got to be someplace, right? They buried it. They lost track of it.
Yeah.
But, man, it used to be. And all the stories are, if you even touched it, you'd fall over, because it was constructed electrically somehow.
Yeah.
Whether you believe in its authenticity or not, the Shroud of Turin remains one of the most enigmatic artifacts in history. Its mystery continues to fuel debates, spark curiosity, and challenge the boundaries of science and faith alike. So, what do you think? Could this truly be evidence of Jesus Christ, or just another historical puzzle waiting to be solved?
What is that? What's in there? Why is it giving people cancer if they're really protecting it?
I think it's the actual structure of the container it's in that is the problem. That's my thought on it. I could be wrong. But I think inside it, they have things from like when Moses was like manna and, you know, stuff like that they managed to keep from, like, for example, they say that that Golgotha, the place where the crucifixion happened, it's called Golgotha, the place of the skull, because that's where Adam's head is buried.
Really?
Yes, and that it's also perhaps the same place. And it tells you it's kind of in the same area where Abraham almost sacrifices Isaac.
Oh.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Comment below with your thoughts. Is the shroud real or a hoax? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more historical mysteries.